So for everybody here, welcome to LinkedIn Hub Day Hangouts. For you new folks, we have two goals in these Hangouts. Goal number one is we want to learn how to use LinkedIn. Goal number two is we want to have fun and be excited to just get out there and go for it. That's really my two big goals. One rule, several rules rolled up into one. Don't be a troll. So no sales, soliciting, self-promotion. Okay. So I've got a topic that I'm going to talk about with the custom list exclusions to what I call in the email, avoid accidentally looking like an idiot because it happens. But I want to give priority to everybody here. Anybody have anything that they stumbled upon, questions, thoughts, observations, LinkedIn related?
I do have one.
Shoot.
So I've been doing a lot of research because I'm getting ready to start my LinkedIn marketing here in about 3 weeks.
Mhm.
And what's your take on building out a group and then pushing people into it to make sure that they see your content marketing? Because I've
Like
been reading,
a pod?
kind of, yeah.
Yeah, so Jared and I were just talking about that like two
Oh, I
seconds
missed it. Oh
before.
no.
Oh, you missed the banter. Okay, so that is a great question. I totally interrupted you. I'm so sorry. Finish your thought.
Well, no, because I like the idea of like my customers need a lot more education before they're going to buy because we're making like even my day rate is $5,500 for the day, right? So they need to really like educate themselves on the surface. And I know not a lot of people are necessarily going to want to click through to a site. Like they don't want to go off LinkedIn, but they still would educate themselves if the content was there. But my issue is
Hmm.
obviously LinkedIn's algorithms don't show your content to all your followers. So do you think it would be beneficial to start a group and to do your kind of like LinkedIn content marketing, which would just be repurposing of content from my main site through there to push people to it? Or would that be too much?
So is your goal to assist clients, or is your goal to get content out into the newsfeed and kind of give it some extra juice?
The first one. I mean, if the second one happens, that's great. But my goal is to create a direct funnel for the clients. There's this great principle from this company called They Ask You Answer, where you let clients qualify themselves at a pace that's best set for them through content. And I have a lot of great content on different ways you can use the services I provide and how it aligns with what people want to accomplish. But I feel if I'm pushing people to a site all the time, I am going to lose people that would purchase it who don't like to go off the platform because that's between 35 and 45% from what my data shows.
Hmm. Yeah, interesting. Is it okay if everybody in that group knows each other? Does that put you in a pickle at all?
No, it won't because it'll all be clients. And I do have a pretty strong non compete where I offer to clients, like, if you book me, I'm not going to do anybody that does the same thing. For instance, like I've literally had two very other big LinkedIn marketers come to me when they found out I was doing your project. And I turned them down because, like, no, it's like the same vertical, the same area, because like the data would cross over.
Sure, sure. Well, I think you have two options. Well, have you thought about doing like something like a Slack channel?
Oh man, my problem with Slack is I never seen it go well. It's the same thing with Asana, right? Where as soon as people get on, you suddenly have like a dozen like what I call dicking around threads where people like Happy Day Friday and what's happening, and they start having these random conversations and they miss like the overarching like thrust of what the content's for. I don't necessarily want people to be able to insert themselves into it so much as I just want them to consume the content and then start to think about how it applies to them.
What about like a Facebook group?
Well, Facebook group has that same issue, right? Where if you're not directly connecting people, and this actually could be a good LinkedIn algorithm style question is Facebook groups no longer show all the Facebook group content to everybody. You have to search for a lot of it if you don't pay to promote to your own group. Does LinkedIn have that same problem?
Well, I feel like groups in LinkedIn has way less engagement. So backtracking a little bit, I think you could do two things on LinkedIn. I'm not sure what's going to be best for you,
Okay.
but I'll give you my 2 cents on a couple options, and then if anybody else wants to chime in, that's cool too. So for it's basically you're having a small community of people where you want to share material and get feedback and that kind of thing, and you want to make sure they see it. So I think on the platform LinkedIn, you have two options. One, you could do a group, and you might even make it a private group. It's an option.
Okay.
You could also do a group message thread and
Hmm.
keep adding people to that. And so I think that the group message thread is kind of going to be more like a Slack channel, is the way it
Okay.
functions. It's going to be like that, but it's there. The group I feel like people on LinkedIn groups, they aren't as active as they are in
Okay.
Facebook groups. So maybe the upside there is people aren't going to be throwing a bunch of stuff in there, and then you'd be worried about them not seeing it.
Okay.
But at the same time, what happens is when there's too much activity in a LinkedIn group, what I've found happening to myself is I get annoyed by all the notifications, I turn them off, and then I stop engaging with the group.
Okay.
So that's kind of the thing there. But if it's a smaller private group, you might not have to worry. Just tell them to turn on these specific notifications so that
Okay.
they don't miss it. That so I don't know if LinkedIn's the best platform for that engagement, but you might. Yeah, I don't know.
Because it's not like I'm going to be doing this as like my main thrust, right? Like this isn't the main goal of the traffic. This is to capture people that would purchase but don't like to go off platform. So it's not like going to be like I've got 5,000 people in the group and I'm posting twice a day. It's more like just a tertiary connection to capture like lazy fish.
Sure. Are you wanting those individuals to interact with each other or just consume the content?
Just consume the content and then hopefully I'll be able to keep driving them to my list. I'm going to re-optimize my profile again and have a couple different landing page options built into it for everything from like webinar access to downloads, depending on like what aligns with what they want to accomplish. And then hopefully I can just keep segmenting people into that.
What you might do is have a plan. So once those people connect, maybe you can create a product where it's like a sales product where they feel like they get special access.
Okay.
And then maybe you, after they connect, you say, hey, like I've got some material that I use XYZ, make them feel like it's not just available anywhere. Like
Mm-hmm.
they only get it because they now are connected to you. And then say, I actually don't even have it on LinkedIn. Do you want me to email it to you?
Yeah.
And I would use phrases like, do you want me to give you access? Do you want me to add you to the list?
Yeah.
Because and it's true, they're feeling like they're getting something that they couldn't get otherwise. And then what you're doing is you are now taking the conversation off of LinkedIn and putting them into your email system too, which, as we both know, is a healthy long-term strategy. But I don't know if that do you
Awesome,
feel like
man. Well,
would that achieve your goals? Would
well,
that
I'm
get
going to test it. Like I said, like my goal for next year is to do 250,000 and have at least 30 to 60% of that lead sale come through LI. So it's just going to be a lot of testing. But if I can skip that line knowing like, oh, that doesn't work or that does, then I can just move to other things to test. But I think you give me a lot of things. Because I really like that group message thread. I'm going to look that in and because I think that could be useful.
Yeah. The group message thread, you can only do that on the normal LinkedIn inbox. SalesNav inbox does not have that capability.
Oh, okay. So can I haven't bought SalesNav yet. Can I switch between the two or do I have to have like a separate account?
Yeah, there are. So with SalesNav, there's a separate inbox, and it's often a pain point. So the plus side with the SalesNav messaging is the email communications are better. You can stay more organized with who you're going to maybe broadcast out a message to, that kind of thing. But if somebody connects with you,
Mm-hmm.
the thread doesn't start in SalesNav.
Oh,
Or if
weird.
you, yeah, it's a bad user experience, and it is what it is. Or if you send the connection request and they reply immediately,
Yeah.
that often goes to the normal inbox as well. And so it's kind of just a pain in the butt, but it's a thing. So those are the two differences, two options. I prefer SalesNav inbox, but I have got
Mm-hmm.
a lot of stuff going on in my other one as well because of receiving connection requests and that kind of thing. Yeah. So the group message is only in the normal inbox. Jer, you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, the only thing I thought is that if you start a group on LinkedIn, it's difficult to maintain a high quality group. And if you want engagement,
Yeah.
you have to really be active yourself on that group. And if you are only publishing materials that's only can be found there, then the group has some value. Otherwise, it dies down quickly. And when people are posting there a lot, it dies down because people get annoyed. And if you're not pulling your weight and keeping it high value on the engagement, then it dies down because it doesn't have really any value, and people have to search for it and have to look about and have to search for the materials and the value of it, and people don't take the time to do that.
Okay, so you're saying that it's probably more labor intensive than the value of the return?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
I would agree with that, Jared, too. Yeah. I think that you have to put a lot of effort into a LinkedIn group to get a return. Just period, because the engagement tends to be lower. You got to try so hard.
Awesome.
Yeah. No, it's a good talking point, especially if the group that you're talking about is more top of funnel.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that would be worth the time to do the group. Maybe the message thread is something unique and clever. But honestly,
Hmm.
you might just try and get them off of LinkedIn into email. Just a thought.
Okay, cool, man. Yeah, and I'm going to be working on that too. But it sounds like you guys just saved me about 20 to 40 hours worth of work. So that's awesome.
Dude, that's why we do hangouts.
Yeah. All right, I'm out of here. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a
All
good,
right.
happy Thanksgiving.
You too, man. See ya.
Bye.
All right. Jesse is also in St. Louis, so that's kind of cool. He's nearby here. Anybody else? Stennebeck, Jer, Fiontan, anything you want to toss out there?
Nope.
All right. All right. Oh, hey, one really quick thing. The email that was going around for, hey, we didn't send some of your messages. Was that legit, or was that like a phishing thing? I heard it both ways. I never, myself and my clients, no one ever got that email, so I never could like look at the sender. Did you?
Yeah. I was suspicious at first too, because there was an E and then dot LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
So that was strange. And I looked the IP address up, and they're tied to LinkedIn Ireland, and that's the official LinkedIn.
Wow.
So
Cool.
it was a legit email, but I didn't hear from my clients if they already got a response on which emails didn't get delivered.
Yeah, because it asked you to email them, and an account specialist would kind of follow up. So
Yeah.
interesting. Okay, just curious. So it's for sure legit.
Yeah.
I'm in a Facebook group and I saw someone put that out there, and you know how people just kind of turn into trolls. They're like, that's fake. I didn't get it, but here's my opinion.
Everybody has an opinion.
Exactly. All right, cool. I trust yours. All right, let me just do this. Okay, so I want to spend some time. I'm going to do a screen share here with the custom list inclusion and exclusion. So give me one moment here, and I'm going to share my screen. The new feature, I'll kind of just as a preview, whoops, it's this guy right here, custom lists. And you can also do custom leads. So the difference here is account is a company, a lead is an individual, and you can include a list or exclude it by hovering over and clicking that little circle. So why is this cool? Do you remember, Jer, when they added the ability to create custom lists? I feel like it was about a year ago ish.
Yeah, I think you're about right.
So about a year ago, they added custom lists, and I was like, oh, is this going to be a better solution than tagging to stay organized? And then it's like, I felt like it was really dumb. And so I was like, yeah, no, tagging's the way to go. But maybe, hopefully, they're going to put some more dev time into this and do other cool things, which is starting to happen. So you could, from about a year ago, create your own custom list of individuals and companies. And now you can include, like search within that list or exclude it from general search. And the reason why that's like, oh, finally, this has value. I mean, there's a few things, but I feel like one really big takeaway here is if you're using LinkedIn for B2B prospecting, it is really embarrassing when you accidentally prospect an account that's already client, or an account that used to be a client, maybe they left on bad terms, or maybe the account is already maybe you already have a proposal out, like that kind of thing. And this becomes really hairy when you've got, like, if you're using a team, or if you're maybe you're using a VA, it gets, or it gets really hairy because not everybody has all the information to try and cross-check a spreadsheet with 100 companies and make sure that that person is not on that spreadsheet is a nightmare. It's such a nightmare. So what we used to do in the past before this was here, and actually you still kind of have to do this to a degree, is we would go to company, and you could do this two ways. You could use Boolean and go like not, and then you could go like company one, and then or company two, and then you could do that, or you could just, and I'll just do this for example. So that would be like, you could do that, or you could just go like company one. This is the company name. So if Amazon is your client, you might go like, I don't want to solicit Amazon or Facebook. Not that they're my clients, but you could do that. You could exclude them that way. So those are the two ways that you could exclude clients and then accounts that converted to sales funnel. And it's okay to a degree, but the problem you hit is once you add a lot of companies to this, the search, the URL up on top here, it gets really long and it breaks every single time. And then when you add another client or someone converts to sales funnel, you have to update this and save it. And you can't like just click this and edit it. You have to like retype stuff or save the text. And you know, it's just, it was what it was, and it's all right, but it was a pain in the butt. So this is why I'm super excited about custom list. So with custom,
Isaac,
yeah.
what I did as a failsafe,
Uh-huh.
I copied the URL from the top, so I don't have to
Yes.
type every time everything again.
Yes. Yeah. That's a great point. So you could copy the URL here. You could also save the search as well, but you're limited on save searches. You can do is infinite copy paste into a spreadsheet. Yeah, that's a great point, Jer. So what the custom list does is instead of having to exclude through typing text, you can just exclude an entire group. And all you have to do is add companies to these buckets, to these groups, and then they're excluded. So you don't have to keep updating and saving this. You just have to add accounts to their appropriate lists as you move forward. And then it's just way more streamlined. So I'm just going to move this real quick. So, all right, what do we got here? Boom, boom, boom. So let's look at this. If you were to go to list, account list, and you can go up here and create another one, right? Name it whatever you want. So you could do this however you want. I just find, as far as the sales side, these are the two most common categories, and they're separate. Like you don't want to keep prospecting your clients, and you don't want to keep prospecting accounts that have converted to sales funnel, right? There's one kind of there is sometimes if it's a big company, they might convert to your sales funnel and it might kind of go cold. And if the company is big enough, you might actually find a road in through another person and it goes somewhere. That's totally happened where we've had multiple individuals add an account that converted to sales funnel off LinkedIn, but one of them went somewhere and one of them didn't. So just to be aware of, you know, so you might want to delineate there. I'm not sure how you would do that, but something to think about. So you'd want to create the list. I like to use those two for sure. And then if you want to add a company to the account list, remember these are account lists. So this is not an individual list. This is an account. So when you're including or excluding an account, it's lots of people, everybody that works there. So you have to save them, save, and then just add to the custom list. And you can see that it's right there. And you can add to another list if they change. Maybe they were converted to sales funnel and then you change it to client, right? Boom. Making sense to everybody?
Yeah.
Also as a kind of, I don't know if this is like a glitch thing. So what I used to do, because I didn't realize if you could change the list, is I would save again and add to the thing. And sometimes even though it says this, it doesn't actually get added to the list. So I've found making sure that you just do the drop down and add to the list is much less glitchy, just as a heads up. You can also do a tag here. So you can do a tag and then we've been using one that says account converted to sales funnel, just in case something goes goofy with the list, or if we maybe want to, if we max out on the list, that kind of thing. For whatever reason, I double over. I don't, maybe it's redundancy, but I like having this extra data because the tags are just, they're sometimes a little bit more versatile. So I personally save them to the list and add a tag. Okay, the thing here though is the tags that you use here at the account level are the same tags that you'll see on the individual lead level, which is why I have like account, because I don't want to accidentally do converted to sales funnel. Like if I just created a tag on an account that says converted to sales funnel and then went to individual people, it's like the same group of tags. So I use the naming convention account to help me remember that this tag is for accounts, to not apply it to people. Bada boom boom. And so you might even do, let's see, this is the account-based search. Probably don't even need to do that. But if you're looking for your clients, like maybe Facebook, so you could even just do this, save, add to list, converted to sales funnel, right? So if you're just getting started, or if you're onboarding a client, what I like to do then is say, I need a list of everyone that you have like a contract out with, or that is in your pipeline, and client list. And then now this is kind of like time consuming, but we do this and we add all those companies to those buckets. Sometimes though, sometimes companies don't have a company page. And so if they don't have a company page, you can't save the company page to any list and then exclude them. So we still use the company name exclusions here to also exclude the companies that don't have a company page, which is more common than you might expect, especially with smaller companies. That's it. That's all my secrets. Goodbye. Any thoughts, questions?
Yeah, I have a question, Isaac. Have you ran into any limitations? Before we could exclude companies, and you could exclude the maximum number of companies. And do you know if the custom list has a maximum of how many companies you can include?
Good question. I believe it's 12 on SalesNav Pro. I think it's 12 or 1500. And I think that you can save unless they change this. You remember when they changed the results? I feel like they might have increased the quantity that you can save. I think the max quantity of leads and accounts you can save is 1500, and I think that the max list size is the same.
Mm-hmm.
So once you are, yeah, that's a good point. So if you're dealing with a company there that has more than like 1500 clients and leads in the pipeline, then that's you're going to hit a max there, and then you might have to upgrade to team, because team gives you a lot more save options.
Yeah. And if I put my paranoia hat on,
Yeah.
if you make a client list, has LinkedIn the right to use the data to see what your clients, who your clients are, and can they use the data?
I have no idea.
I don't. That's why I asked the question.
Yeah. Well, I think that the custom list, I don't know that everybody uses it to keep track of clients. So I think they'd really have to dig into it. Like it's not a pre-built-in thing into the platform that says choose your clients so that we can easily know who your clients are. I think they'd have to dig into it, but they probably are watching me right now. Yeah, I don't know.
No.
Yeah. Also, if you are a service provider, you have to make sure that, because you're just one piece of a bigger machine, and you have to make sure that when you need to add companies to the exclusion list who are new clients, or maybe converted to sales funnel, you have to make sure that you're in the loop there so that all of your work is kind of in tandem, because otherwise it becomes just about you. And it's still better than nothing, but it's not perfect. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. That's it. What do you think, Stunnebeck? He's frozen. Cool. I'm gonna stop screen share unless anybody else wants me to do anything here. Oh, you know what we should probably talk a little bit about is let's briefly talk about inclusion, right? So it's helpful to use custom list exclusion, like that's one strategy, so that you can exclude clients and conversions to sales funnel. But you can also create a custom list and then search within that list. I feel like tagging, I feel like tagging at the account level is more helpful for me, because I don't want to just rely, I don't hit that limit, the 1500 limit. If I just want to include a group, it's, you can use as many tags as you want if you want to do an inclusion search. Does that make sense? Am I bunny trailing too much?
No.
So if you want to include, I feel like at the account level, tags are better because you can just search and then add the tag, right? And there's no 1500 limit if you want to include. The downside there would be is if you're relying on the notifications for saved accounts, then you wouldn't get them if you're using tags. So for the individuals, I don't know if I'm just an idiot here, but I cannot really think of any good reason for B2B sales why I would search within a lead list. I guess maybe that's because we're using tags. Can you think of anything, Jer? Why you would search within a custom list of individual leads?
I think it can be valuable if you are targeting persons and not companies. And they have to be special kind of people.
But if you tag them, it's like you're getting the same results, right?
Yeah.
Because like I think having the account, it like adds an extra filter, because you're bringing in all the people that are associated with those accounts, which you can't do from here. But if it's an individual, you could do the individual lead list or tags. But I don't know that, is there any like thing that makes the lead list more superior than tags?
Now, the only thing I can think of, if the algorithm shows more about those people in the feed at the front and notifies you that those leads were in the news if they publish something extra.
Oh, sure. So you could maybe have a group of that's you could do tagging would do that too. But yeah, you could like these kinds of things mentioned in the news. Yeah, that's a good point. You could do that. You could search within your saved list. Yeah. I suppose you could also have a saved list for maybe a unique initiative, and then you could use tags to filter it down a little bit more as well.
Yeah, with tags you can be more precise, and you can add your own wording to the tag, so it's more specified to your needs and not so generic as leads.
Yeah, and you still can't exclude a tag, which is why I think this is so helpful.
Yeah,
because you can exclude a group,
when you can
exclude the
exclude the
list.
tag, it would be really helpful for us.
Oh my gosh, I know. Totally. Okay, cool. Yeah, good thoughts. Anybody else? Any final thoughts before I stop sharing my screen? Over. All right, let's see here. All right. Well, I mean, okay, it's 10:30. I kind of want to hit just a couple of these questions really quick if y'all have time. Y'all have time? Sweet. All right. And then feel free to, if this triggers a question for you all, just interrupt me. I don't mind at all. Okay. So I had a question come in. Which industries are the easiest to contact on LinkedIn? I feel like that's a really good question. Which industries are easiest? Uh, I mean, I think it's like, if you want to use the delineation of white collar versus blue collar, like who is more likely to be using their phone or computer for work? If you're, so don't just use that criteria, but I think white collar, blue collar, if your job is more white collar, if your industry is more white collar, you're going to be more likely to be using LinkedIn. But even within there's some uh, titles, some roles in the company that are going to be more likely to use LinkedIn. And I think a good example there would be like construction. The construction industry in general, they're, working really hard, not talking to people, messaging and using LinkedIn. However, like their HR team, if it's a bigger company, their HR team is probably on LinkedIn for hiring and all kinds of stuff. Their marketing team might be on LinkedIn. The owner might be on LinkedIn because he wants to sell to other businesses. So industries, I feel like you'd say white in general, white collar industry, but also even blue collar industry, the roles within those companies that are more like HR marketing, like that kind of thing. Any thoughts on that, Jer?
Yeah, and what I noticed is that the blue collar tends to respond slower, and you have to give them more time to respond on LinkedIn, and not
Yeah.
yeah, throw them away as not responding.
Yeah, that's a great point. And even with white collar, some people, so like I'm thinking like a surgeon. A surgeon is in the healthcare industry, right? And that's really white collar. But a surgeon, I'm trying to think if we've ever done outreach on surgeons.
I
I
hope
don't
he's
I
not
don't
texting while operating.
Yeah, I feel like they're probably like on LinkedIn less because they're like focused, like they're, so it's a combo between industry and their role in the company for sure. But a broad answer to that for best industries, I think, are going to be white collar industries are going to be in general more active on LinkedIn. Yeah, good question. Oh, let's see. Can someone tell if you searched for them if you don't view their profile? Uh, so the answer there is kind of, sort of, if they have a premium account and you, as the creeper, work for a small company. So here's why. If you, okay, give me a second. I'll just try and explain it. If this is confusing, I'll try to share my screen. So if I'm trying to think, who would I want to creep their profile? Okay, so Jer. All right, Jer. I want to creep Jer's profile. But maybe Jer and I had a big fight, and I don't want him to know that I'm trying to look at his profile. And so maybe I do a search, and I just want to see maybe his activity or something, or just see what he's up to. But I don't want to click through the profile, so I'm searching for Jer. What's going to happen there is if I don't view his profile, I don't view his profile, and he's not going to get a profile view notification. But if he's paying for premium, premium gives you better search insights. And so if they're paying for premium and they happen to look at the searches that they were found in, and they see like that they see that your company was the company that searched for them, and it's a small enough company, you're going to be like, oh, I know who that was. So it takes a little bit of extra work for them to realize it, but that's about it. That's about it. So any thoughts on that? Am I missing something? Is there any other way that someone would know that they were being searched for but not viewed? Hmm. Maybe best advice here is to, whatever is weird between you, just get over it. Okay, cool. Let's do the next one. Can you show me how to download my profile as a PDF to use as a resume. So that's kind of a fun short one. Give me 1 second here and I'll just pull that up. All right, so if you wanted to be lazy and download your profile, you could just be logged in, more, save to PDF, click, and there it is, boom. And you know what, I'm going to, let's see if I can open it in the same, you guys still see it? So this is what it looks like, which I feel like is really boring. So you could, that's how you download your profile as a PDF. I don't know that I would use this format as your resume, but you might want to just take this format and then use it as a cheat sheet for copy pasting and tailor it a little bit better to wherever you're applying. Cool. Let's see, we're blasting through these. Okay, let's do this one and then we'll wrap it up. Should I, and I'll tell you before I read this, I 2 weeks ago would have answered this a little bit different. Okay, so for what it's worth, should I put my certification or degree in my last name field? Any thoughts there? I want to hear everybody's thoughts before I don't want to sway. What do you guys think? So an example would be like PhD, MBA, PMP, BA. Oh, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? So I'm not talking about like a tagline in your name. I'm talking about the certification or qualification or degree. Any thoughts?
Yeah, at some level, it's conveying some authority.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to connect with somebody on a personal level. It's also creating a distance.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Yeah. You might feel like they've got to stick up their coffee cup.
Yep.
What do you think? What do you think, Isaac?
I think it is kind of redundant, right? If I mean, it's going to be somewhere else on their page.
True. I see outside of LinkedIn, I see people adding those kinds of titles to their name as well. So I don't think this is just a LinkedIn question. Like sometimes when you're creating an account, it asks right next to your name if you want to include that in there, right? So I think 2 weeks ago, and this is these are all just opinions, but for what it's worth, just as a sounding board. 2 weeks ago, I would have said it's kind of like, I don't care. And then last weekend, I was at an exec ed conference in Austin. And since academia is not really my world, you know, it was like a custom program conference. So you've got individuals at universities that sell custom programs to C-level people at big companies. So it's almost like a B2B thing there, but I didn't really realize how significant that title was in that world, because that's not my world. And like I've got a friend who's just finishing up his PhD, and he told me that people, like he wants to publish a book, he can't even get in having a conversation with those people unless they see that title. And I was like, are you serious? That sounds so silly, you know? So I think that in your world, if that matters, it's okay. And if people like Isaac 2 weeks ago thought that was dumb, then that's just Isaac being narrow-minded. No, me, sorry, not you standing back, me. This Isaac. Because it's on their profile too. But some people are just too lazy to read farther down, you know. I probably am. So that's just my opinion. I don't know that there's a right or wrong answer there. I think you can do whatever you need to. And if you know your audience and if they need to see that, I think it's fine. I don't have a PhD, so I'm probably never going to get a PhD. All right, well, that's probably the last one I want to hit, unless anything came to mind here as we were talking. Anything else?
Nope, I'm good.
All right, Jer, PHP, PhD, Studebaker, PMP. Mr. Gamble, qualified solicitor. Hey, speaking of that, actually, I want to say one thing. So, hang on one second. Pull up this is more of a fun story. So I got a message from Fianton, and it says in parentheses on his profile, qualified solicitor. And so this is like kind of what made me think about this was the what matters to your audience, you know? And so I thought that I was thinking that he was being clever, like, hey, yeah, I'm going to say something, but only if I'm going to be like good about it. And so I thought that was hilarious. And so I told him that was funny. And he goes, no, actually, where I live, that's what we call someone legal. And so it's kind of funny. Kind of funny. So anyways, that's all. All right. See you guys later.
Bye.
Later.
Bye for now.